So last week we talked about Christmas movies.
Yes.
And I had a lot of regrets after that episode because I didn't talk about one Christmas movie that I've watched every single year since I was a youngin'. And it's called Deck the Halls. Now, you don't know my father, but if you did, you'd know that this man loves this Christmas movie more than any other Christmas movie on this entire planet.
He does.
Every time we watch this movie, he laughs and chuckles to himself the entire movie. And I think we watched it with you one time, and you were just like, you've never seen my dad like that, ever.
There are a few things that touches his soul at such a primal level.
Yeah, so Deck the Halls didn't make it. I should have put that not necessarily on my top 5 list of Christmas movies, but
you owed it to your
I
father.
owed it to my father to discuss it at least. And then the other thing that I was going to say is I didn't put like the Charlie Brown Christmas. We didn't talk about that. Like,
never seen it.
Yeah, you haven't seen that, and he also hasn't seen Rudolph. So
nope.
So that's something we'll fix this Christmas season.
Apparently Rudolph wants to be a dentist?
Not Rudolph. There's another elf in there that wants to be a dentist. Okay. So there's Rudolph. We got to watch that. Charlie Brown Christmas. And, you know, because our son will love Charlie Brown Christmas. And then we also have to watch Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Which you've never seen.
We don't have to, but I guess we can.
We will. 'Tis the season.
Welcome to Perkins On Podcast. I'm Michael. This is Crystal.
Hello.
Today we are going to tell you our favorite things on TV right now. We're going to talk about 2 movies we watched this past week, The Menu and Disenchanted. But first, Crystal would like to take you through my existential despair and how appliances are making me question everything that's happening in my life right now.
Yeah, so you know Thanksgiving is coming up. The biggest eating holiday of the year here in the good old US of A. So something pretty crucial to that event is a dishwasher. And ours just so happened to go out last week on Thursday.
Yeah, we're hosting Thanksgiving for like 12, 14 people.
It was 17 and now it's 13.
Now it's 13. The dishwasher broke. I called the GE guy. He came over. He said, it's just this motherboard thing. Quick fix. It'll cost $500. And I said,
not including the part.
No, that was with everything.
Oh, that
was like $550 with everything. But I was like, okay, no thank you.
Yeah.
Write down the part number.
No thanks.
Crystal has inspired me. You know, I see her working with power tools all the time. I see her doing all this cool stuff. I'm like, I'm going to look it up on YouTube. I'm going to figure this out on my own. So I order the part. It gets here today.
And I'm like, props to you, because appliances are a whole different beast. Like the electrical circuit board situation, I'm tapping out of that narrative.
On YouTube, the guy said, it's a real easy fix. It's just, you just replace it, pop it in, and then it should work. So I was like, okay.
So he says, before we record, I'm going to go try this. And I was like, Godspeed, brother.
All right. So I open it up. I pull it out. It's different than the YouTube video I found. It's like a newer model. So that doesn't fit. I don't have the right tools. So I have to go to Home Depot to get the little thing to unscrew the thing.
Yeah. The thing to unscrew the thing.
Get the thing to unscrew the thing. And then my fat sausage fingers can't like get the plugs in.
Sitting in the office and I hear a number of expletives, which understandable. During a DIY project, that's just how it's going to go. But the thing that was most alarming was I just hear this screech. just a screech from the kitchen. And I'm like, I think I need to go in there. So I go in there. I'm like, hey.
I was getting so frustrated.
How's it going? And so it was just like, anyway, the long story short, he replaced the part.
Here's the long story short. You tricked me. You made me think that doing it yourself was possible, that it's possible for a silly little guy like me to do things on my own.
I was really proud of him because I thought that was, showing some progress, because Michael is anti-project. So the fact that he was going to take this on and do it, I really wish it would have worked, because I feel like it would have built your confidence a little.
And instead it has destroyed my confidence, not only for DIY things, but for my whole life. Anyway, so we got the board in, we plugged everything back in. It still doesn't work. So someone else is coming today. We'll see if they can fix it.
And it's one of those things where you have all the wires under the dishwasher, and then it connects to the panel in the front, and hello.
Gotta have our bevies.
It doesn't. Anyway, the dishwasher is still broken. We're still hosting Thanksgiving.
Maybe.
Ooh, ASMR podcast. Nice.
Speaking of love being blind.
What do you mean?
It's called a transition. Ever
That's
heard of it?
That's a great transition.
All right. So reality TV, not my jam. It is
I watch
very
a lot
much
of reality
your
TV.
jam.
You know what's funny though is I didn't watch a lot of reality TV probably until 5 years ago when our friends introduced us to The Bachelor. Like I had never watched an episode of The Bachelor in my life until like 2016.
So for 5+ years, we've been watching every Bachelor franchise, and now we've watched all 3 seasons of Love Is Blind. And I'm starting to question my choices, but I wanted to unpack that a little bit with you. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to ask you is, which do you prefer? Which is better, Love Is Blind or Bachelor in Paradise, or Bachelor in general?
What's the metric for success?
Just what do you prefer? What do you think is a more enjoyable viewing experience? What gives you more excitement to watch?
I think that the conciseness of the Netflix shows is better. Yeah, because they come out in 3 weeks. You're done. Bachelor feels like a slog right now. It's just too much.
Too much filler.
I feel like I've been watching this season of Bachelor in Paradise for the last 6 months.
Yeah, and it almost feels like the last couple of seasons, whether it's Bachelorette or Bachelor, there's 1 or 2 big moments, and they milk that in all the promos for the whole season, but then everything else is just filler.
Yeah, and if you're looking at success rate as a metric for success, Bachelor, a Bachelor or a Bachelorette, the larger shows, and none of them have been successful in the last 4 years, 5 years. People will leave the show, but none of them have gotten married. I think the most recent person that got married was JoJo Fletcher and her guy.
I mean, but that's not their success rate. They don't care. Ultimately.
Yeah, they don't care ultimately. But so the most interesting thing is Bachelor in Paradise. That's where most of the couples come from that actually stay together, which is weird.
Yeah.
But I guess it makes more sense.
I think I'm out on Bachelor from now on.
Well, I think you're out.
I think I'm done with it. I think
it's served its purpose. Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah. I would watch another season of Love Is Blind because it's more compressed.
Even when they announced who the next Bachelor was, I was like, I literally don't care.
Okay, so let's talk about some TV.
I think you just convinced me. I think I might be out on Bachelor.
Let's talk about some TV that we really do care about. A couple things that we love.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the best thing that's on TV right now.
Yes.
And that is Andor. We agree on this 100%.
Yeah. Which is nice.
I know. We don't always come together like that.
This is legit the best Star Wars thing that Disney has done since they took over the property.
I 100% agree.
It might be just one of the best Star Wars things, period.
I think it is.
And hardly anybody's watching it.
That's confusing.
It's
why?
I don't know. Because it's
how do you know nobody's watching it?
They've been open about the
They're
ratings.
this is the reason why we fired the Disney CEO.
I don't think so.
This is the reason why we brought Bob back.
They're trying to push it. They're launching it on live TV on their other channels. They're putting it up on Hulu, to let people watch the first 2 episodes. They're trying to get people in, but not as many people watching it as say The Mandalorian or the other stuff.
Well, when you said, "Hey, let's watch this," I didn't care either. But then you watch an episode and you're like, "Oh, I care."
So this is Tony Gilroy. So he's the writer director of Michael Clayton.
Michael Clayton. You love Michael Clayton.
I do. I made you watch that a couple times.
I don't remember it.
You don't remember it?
Isn't there books?
What do you mean, isn't there books?
Are they books?
No.
Oh.
It's just a movie with George Clooney.
Oh, the lawyer one.
Yes.
I have watched that. Okay, that's good. I remember that.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling, yeah.
What? It's not Ryan Gosling.
What? What do you...
I just said George Clooney.
But isn't Ryan Gosling in it with George Clooney?
No.
Ryan Gosling is the guy that... What's that?
Oh, that's The Ides of March.
That's The Ides of March.
That is a completely different movie. Another movie I really like. But, okay, fun fact. The writer and director... Okay, so George Clooney...
I have seen Michael Clayton. I remember the car explosion now.
Okay, yes. So Michael Clayton, classic, amazing. The Ides of March was directed by George Clooney, but written by Beau Willimon, who also created House of Cards, but he is also a writer on Andor. So he wrote several of the episodes. So it's coming full circle.
Wow, it's like I planned it. I didn't.
Yes.
And I think Star Wars can feel overwhelming just because they're doing so much stuff. It's hard to pay attention to what is even going on.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like you need that for this. You don't really need any context for any of the other Star Wars stuff that's going on. It's there's a rebellion. There's bad guys that wear stormtrooper suits. Then that pretty much you're there.
Yeah, I mean, they flesh out the world of Star Wars in a way that I feel like no one's ever really done before. Like, it is just
And
so
every
fantastic.
episode is like so exciting.
Yeah.
It feels like you're just watching lots of like little mini movies.
Well,
and the budget is crazy. It looks so good.
I don't even know if it's the budget. They just have invested so well in the set design and the costume design. Like,
budget.
Budget.
You can't have a good looking set if you don't have the money to back it up.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But it's like they chose to focus on it. Like, they're investing in
like
these
when you
details.
get to some of the later episodes, like just the world that they've created in the set design is just wild. Like, it's so good.
Okay, so we love that. Our other favorite show just came back, Sex Lives of College Girls.
Oh yeah, we love that show.
So this is HBO
I really
Max.
hope HBO doesn't cancel it.
Let's hope not. Let's not speak that into existence.
HBO, if you're listening, we love the Sex Lives of College Girls. Please give us season 3.
Season 1 was probably one of my favorite things that came out that year.
It was so funny.
This is Mindy Kaling. It's basically Never Have I Ever, but in college, R-rated language, sexual content.
Correct.
No nudity though. You know, it's like it's tasteful.
There's nudity.
There is?
There is. First of all, one of the actresses in it is Timothée Chalamet's sister.
Yes.
Fun fact. Didn't know that when we watched it the first time. Her name is Kimberly, and she's hilarious.
The whole show is just hilarious.
Yeah, all of the like main girls that are in it are so funny. So it's just fun to see a comedy that is, I don't know, it feels like it's fully human, embracing like the messiness and, you know, female sexuality and like all that kind of stuff. Like
it's very sex positive.
Yeah, very sex positive. It's much different than my college experience.
Great transition. Fleischman is in trouble. So they've posted the first 2 episodes on Hulu. We watched that last night.
Mm-hmm.
So this is based on a book. I really like the book.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to watch it separated from what I know is coming. Like, so everything that I've watched in the first 2 episodes kind of goes through that prism of like, okay, I know what they're building to. Like, what was your experience watching it?
You know, jury's out. I'm curious as to what the plot line, like, as what's going on, but it felt like it took 2 episodes to like do something that could have happened like in 1.
Yeah. So you're not fully hooked.
I'm not fully hooked. And like, you know, a man like exploring, you know, his sexuality post-divorce is not something that really aligns with me personally. It's something I'm really interested in seeing on television. So just like a lot of masturbating, a lot of hooking up, like,
yeah.
I don't know if it's for me.
This is what I'll say. I'm trying to respect your desire not to have anything spoiled, but the beginning of the book, and I think what we're getting in these first 2 episodes, are very much from his perspective, and they're trying to paint him as a sympathetic character where he's kind of the victim of his wife. Like,
see, this is a spoil.
Why?
Because then we're gonna get it from her character and have him painted in a very different way, so now I have expectations. See, he always does this. Well, he can't stop himself.
Well, okay, but doesn't that help you knowing? So that's why I wonder if the show is fully successful, because I feel like we don't really like him in the first 2 episodes. Still.
Yeah, but can it be a successful show if people don't like your main character and get uninvested in the first 2 episodes?
Well, that's the point where you're supposed to really like him. You're supposed to like be on his side.
I mean, I'm wondering where she is, but I'm not like on his side.
See, that's what I wonder, like, did they quite capture it? Because the experience of reading the book is like, he basically, like, she drops a bomb on him by just disappearing and not being responsive, and he's like this good guy, like, trying to pick up the pieces. But then you kind of get it from the other perspective, and then everything changes. You change how you see everything that happened in their relationship.
I mean, anything Jesse Eisenberg is in, you know he's a bad dude. It's like, come on.
I guess.
It's like, he never plays a good guy. When does he play a good guy?
Zombieland 1 and 2.
I haven't seen those in so long.
I mean, what have you seen him in where he's bad guy? Like Mark Zuckerberg?
Lex Luthor.
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, do I need to say anything else?
I guess not.
It's one of the biggest bad guys of all time.
Okay.
The biggest bad guy of all time, if you really want to get into it politically.
Do you have any stake in who the best Chris is?
Well, I know who the best Chris is.
How? How do you know? Who is it?
It's Chris Hemsworth.
Okay, why?
It's like, there's not even a contest. He's the most handsome. He's a family man. He has an Australian accent. It's like, what else do I need to say?
But you only know that because you were watching over my shoulder when I was watching that show.
No, I
Limitless.
already knew that.
You already knew all those things?
Yeah, if you had put like five months ago, if you had put me in a lineup with like, we know who the worst Chris is. If you put all the Chris's in a lineup, it's like easily Chris Hemsworth, so handsome.
I probably would have said Chris Pine.
Really?
And then maybe even
what
Chris
do you know
Evans.
about him, like anecdotally though?
I'm just thinking about his body of work, like as an actor.
Oh,
Like who would I rather see show up in a movie, or who do I think is like the most interesting?
oh, okay. I was thinking like, who do I want to hang out with at a party?
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth. But we're not getting invited to the same parties, if you know what I mean.
Okay, so I agree with you now because I watched.
I knew he was
Limitless.
like a big family man. I've seen a lot of TikToks.
That's
He does
what
a
I
lot
saw.
of cute stuff with his family.
That's what I really like about it. So Limitless is this new National
Love that.
Geographic documentary show. It's 6 episodes. Basically, he's all like, I want to live forever. I want to like make sure I can play with my grandkids and stuff. So each episode is like diving into this, you know, like different aspect of how you can stay young, or how you can take care of your body, how you can take care of your brain.
Yeah.
But I wasn't ready for just how wonderful he is, just like how down to earth.
I knew it in my heart.
He's got his high school friends around him. He's still close with them. He's got his brothers. He's got his wife.
I feel
and
like
kids.
Australians just know what's up.
But he in the show too. He's just so genuine and vulnerable. Yeah. But so each episode of this series, it's like a specific challenge, some crazy thing that they're having him do to explore, you know, stuff like stress or like memory. And he fails a lot. And like ultimately he usually succeeds in doing the thing that they're trying to do, but he's like letting himself be seen like really struggling with stuff and really having a hard time. But then the last episode really surprised me. So it's all about acceptance. It's basically like, okay, no matter what you do, you're going to die. Mm-hmm. No matter what you do, you're going to age. Like you can't. So they put him in this like MIT suit where they simulate him being in his 80s. Mm-hmm. They do all these things, and he's like having these like deep conversations with elderly people there at the simulation thing, and like with a death doula, and he's getting like emotional and stuff. And it's just like I was just blown away by how real he is and how down to earth it seems like he is, and the priorities that he has. Like he's stepped away from acting after this experience.
Yeah, I think that news just came out like a couple days ago too.
Yeah, so like he found out that he's susceptible to Alzheimer's based on his genetics. But he talks about it a lot throughout the show. He's like, am I spending my time well? You know, like, am I, you know, like missing out on my kids' lives? And I don't know, just so wholesome.
Yeah,
he definitely really nice. Did not divorce Anna Faris.
Don't even get me started.
All right, so Disenchanted. Our son wakes up at 5. We didn't start the movie until 10. I only saw like 30, 40 minutes of it.
Well, here's the bone I have to pick with that. Our movie-going friends, right? We're like, hey, you guys want to watch Disenchanted together? They're like, yeah, we do. Cool. So our friends have car trouble. They're late, whatever. But while we're waiting for our friends, we find out that one of our other friends has never even seen Enchanted. So already 25% of the people that are there don't know what's going on. Yeah. And then our friends that were having car trouble show up. Turns out he hasn't seen Enchanted either. So now, you know, we have 2 of the 6 people that haven't seen Enchanted and end up being super late. And so he had to go to bed because our kid gets up at 5 and he has to get up with him in the morning. We ended up watching it and I was excited for it, but not like, okay, let me say this. When Enchanted came out originally.
Yeah.
Let me set the stage for you. Crystal, high school, loves musical theater. Enchanted was so fun. I loved it. I had such a fun experience watching it. And so I was excited to see Disenchanted. I wasn't sure like what they were going to do. And I think I need to go back and watch Enchanted again. I don't know if they captured like the whimsy or like the fun of what Enchanted was. And I get that it's a sequel and those are hard. I thought all of the actors that were in it were great. They had some original songs that were really fun. But I just think that compared to the first, it doesn't have the same like joyous atmosphere that I think Enchanted did so well.
Yeah, I mean, the whole premise of Enchanted, like, okay, fairy tale mixed with real life and like bringing that, like you said, whimsy into a real life setting. But now their whole premise is like, oh, happily ever after is actually really kind of a bummer, and our life sucks. And
well, it's not so much that, and you didn't watch the movie, so you don't even know. So
I just saw how they set it up. How
they like set it up and stuff. So it takes them all on a journey. So I think if you've seen Enchanted 1, I think you'll enjoy Disenchanted. I don't think it's as good as Enchanted, but I thought it was still fun.
Okay. So you don't have very strong feelings about it either way.
No, I don't.
All right, let's move on to the menu then. We saw this in a theater last week. You don't really like scary movies.
Yeah, I don't do the horror genre. I don't like jump scares. I don't like gore. I have very vivid dreams.
Yeah, you get spooked very easily, have nightmares.
Yeah, and it's like watching it is fine, but like if I tell you the amount of times I've dreamed about that creepy little ring girl crawling in my bed and grabbing my arms, like too many.
So what about this made you go, I think I can handle it?
Well, it just felt like this wasn't a horror movie. It just felt like this was a thriller.
Okay. Kind of right on the edge.
Yeah, I don't want to do like creepy paranormal, like clowns, those type of things.
Okay. Clowns aren't paranormal.
I know, but they could be. Like,
I guess you said.
What do you
creepy.
mean, like a doll that like comes to life? Like, is Chucky a clown?
No.
Oh,
he's a doll.
But that's weird. I don't want that in my brain. Anyway.
Fair enough. Okay, so
I just felt like this was like regular people, and it was gonna be like a psychological thriller. Which is fine.
Did you like it?
I actually really liked it more than I thought I would. I thought it was really like it felt almost like a black comedy in a way.
Yeah,
there was lots of like comedic relief, which I feel like is necessary in a movie like this, just kind of alleviate some of the tension.
Yeah, and at the same time, a couple of like horrifying moments or concepts.
Yeah. Definitely.
You leaned over to me a couple times. You're like, this is scary.
Yeah, it was scary.
Yeah, but not in like a slasher jump scare kind of way. Just like, oh, this is like
that's what I don't like.
Terrifying.
Because I think that, you know, the human condition to see it break.
Yeah.
Is always something that makes you feel like, am I next? You know.
I was surprised too that it was deeper than I expected it to be. I thought it worked on a lot of levels. Yeah. I mean, it's almost like it has a lot to say about capitalism. It has a lot to say about making things, making art, like who consumes the things that you make, like what kind of satisfaction do you have at these
what
different
does success
tiers?
look like, and how does success change craft in a way?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was really interesting, this whole idea of, okay, here is a chef and a group of chefs or a group of people making food who are at the top of their game, like the top of the industry, and they're deeply unhappy for a number of reasons, but ultimately they're now working at a level and at a price point where only a certain class of people can enjoy their food.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because we've been to Noma in Copenhagen.
Yeah. Which
was absurdly expensive. But I felt like there were a lot of parallels between that dining experience and what was portrayed in the movie. And I was just thinking about that the whole time I was watching it. Like,
yeah. But, you know, at Noma, there was...
like, what does it feel like to be a elitist New Yorker piece of shit? That TikTok sound? It feels awesome.
Yeah, but for them, it doesn't feel awesome, you know? So, like, they're at the top of their game. They're at, like, the height of their industry.
That's what they talk about. Like, that's, I think, the dichotomy of the movie. It's like these people, while at the top of their game, are still in the service industry. They are still the people serving the other people. And that's what the whole thing is about.
And then, ultimately, the people who are partaking are not nice.
Yeah.
And also deeply unhappy.
Yeah, everyone's unhappy. Are you unhappy, Michael?
I mean, that stupid dishwasher should have just turned on.
Just burn it. Let's get a new house.
But I've always thought that's an interesting thing to think about, because it's like when you make stuff, you want people to like it. But there's always been a part of me that's like, I want cool people to like it. You know, it's like you don't want...
And that's what Brene Brown says. She's like, the killer of creativity is cool.
That's not at all what I'm talking about.
Oh.
I know that's also a good point.
I mean, I think whenever you make anything, you want it to be accepted. And I think the idea that cool people like it just essentially would validate your coolness, which is all about the ego. Yeah.
I guess that's true. So it's like, are you doing it because you love doing the thing? And that's ironic. Maybe not ironically. That is just a part of how the movie resolves, is that the chef gets in touch with why he loved cooking in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, I think about this constantly.
Yeah.
You know, obviously this is what I do for my job, creating stuff. And how I started was just doing it because I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
And then somewhere along the way, it morphs into like, okay, I still think this is cool, but also like, what do people expect and what are people going to like?
And how do you pay the bills?
So how does that all kind of like come together? And then what does the output look like? And does it still feel authentic? Can it still feel authentic?
Yeah. How do you stay true to the thing that really excites you and that you love to do while balancing that other stuff?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
But so that's why I thought the movie was so good, because I feel like it tackles all that stuff. You know, like it goes at it in an interesting genre way, kind of sneaks it in.
Yeah. I mean, I really liked the movie.
Yeah.
I left thinking a lot about just like my life in general, but also was happy that it wasn't so scary that I was like going to have nightmares.
Yeah.
But I just felt like it was definitely more of like a psychological thriller. I don't know if you could definitely put it in the horror genre because like what is happening is horrific, obviously, but none of that like jump scare, like super gory, serial killery stuff.
So this week we're going to see Knives Out 2.
Yep, that's in theaters.
And
coming to
we're
Netflix
see
in
the
December.
new Steven Spielberg movie, The Fablemans.
I don't know anything about that.
And we still haven't finished Westworld.
Yeah, we're finishing Westworld. We're watching Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, the finale of Andor is coming. More Sex Lives of College Girls is coming. A lot of good stuff.
Yeah. So we'll watch those and we'll see you next week. How about that?
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks for watching.